Welcome back to Mornings with Dave King and Matt Martin. We are broadcasting from the Thacker Jewelry Studios, and we're going to go straight to the phones. We've got Dr. Schovanec on line 2, president of Texas Tech University. Dr. Schovanec, how are you today?
I'm fine, Matt. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for coming on.
You're welcome.
I guess there's been, good news as far as the Big 12 is concerned. It looks like the Big 12 is going to have a football season.
That's right. We met yesterday. We had a very lengthy meeting. It was a bit different than our typical board meetings in that we had a number of medical experts. Not only our head team physicians, but others had been brought in. It was an extensive conversation. The ADs were part of that meeting. We continued to discuss the issues with the ADs and all the presidents and the leadership of the Big 12 office, and we made a decision. Now, it would be silly for me to say the decision hasn't been made because it's been in all the media, but I want to be careful about not getting ahead of the league. There will be a press release this morning in advance of the commissioner's media teleconference. The press release was shared with me as part of the executive committee, and I really do want to be respectful of the commissioner and the league's statements. What's important, I think, to keep in mind is that there were many different views shared at that meeting, and the league statement represents a representative sort of conclusion. And I think we have to be very clear in how we communicate why we decided to go forward. What did we see differently than, say, the Pac-12 or the Big Ten? And so the commissioner will be addressing the specifics of that and later today, and that will be part of the release later this morning.
Okay. So I don't know if this is going to be part of it, but has the NCAA gotten involved at all as far as how they're going to do national championships and all of that kind of stuff?
No, that was not part of our discussion yesterday. Of course, we've been discussing the NCAA as it relates to championship events, but that wasn't a critical part of yesterday's conversation. And I think there is a sentiment that, in some sense, we need to set our own direction, and that's what the league did.
Okay.
So what will you do about attendees of the game?
I'm sorry, Dave?
The attendees coming to the game.
Well, that wasn't all yesterday. That wasn't a part of the discussion. We were really discussing whether to move forward with the season. Now, as you know, there was an announcement about a week ago where planning for the attendance was. I addressed that. Our athletics department has addressed that, and so they're planning for 25% capacity. That could change depending on how the virus, the pandemic evolves. But there was no specific discussion of modifying attendance limits as part of the discussion to move forward with our 9+1 season.
Okay. I think y'all had to get a new team to play that +1. Is everything set up for that now?
Yes, Matt. That's all set.
Okay.
And there's been hints out there as to who it is, but I'll let Kirby make that official announcement.
Texas A&M.
No, it's not that.
I was going to keep trying anyway.
But I would say it was important to the league to make sure that if we're going to play a non-conference team, that we can absolutely promise to the athletes that the same standards we expect of the league membership will be followed in that non-conference game, and that was addressed.
Okay. So I know that this isn't a fun topic, but I know that y'all had some issues with the women's basketball team. You fired the women's basketball coaches, the head coach and the assistant coach. What is Texas Tech looking at moving forward with the women's basketball?
Kirby appointed a committee and I serve on that committee that's been involved in the interviews. And we began to interview candidates Sunday. And I would say there is a great deal of interest in that position with some wonderful candidates in that pool. We've visited with a number of them already. This was a black eye for our athletic department and for the university. And what is frustrating about it is when we say that we are here for the students, let's just not talk. We live that every day. And so a situation like that seems so inconsistent with our fundamental values. And I would hope that people understand that not everything that's written in the media is absolutely accurate, but we can't deny that there was a problem. And it wasn't ignored. But we're going to move forward, and I'm very confident that we'll be the better for the changes that will be made, and I'm excited about the people we're talking with.
So I know that the big thing for me, I'm not saying that she did anything illegal or that anything was done that was. It was just the fact that people didn't want to work under her anymore, and I compare that to like Coach Beard, where people are begging to work under him. I just thought that was enough of a difference that I think Texas Tech made the right decision there.
Nobody would ever question Coach Stallings' ability as a coach, and Kirby has already addressed this. There was it was an issue of relationships,
mm-hmm.
And so as Kirby said, we felt like we had not provided the support to those student athletes that they deserved. And so he made the decision, he made the recommendation that we make a change. And what you say about Chris Beard is so true. He coaches them hard, but there's no doubt that he has the ability to develop very deep relationships with those athletes. I've been around him many times when he speaks of his love for those guys, and they feel it and they know it. I'm not saying Marlene didn't do that, but obviously there was a problem there.
All right, Coach Dr. Schovanec,
you know
talk about sports. I was going to give you
so much time on athletics, but anybody who knows my athletic ability would never mistake me for a coach.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I'd like to talk about the opening of the school, Texas Tech, and other things going on with that. This is Mornings with Dave King and Matt Martin. We're talking to Dr. Schovanec, president of Texas Tech University. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Mornings with Dave King and Matt Martin. We are broadcasting from the Thacker Jewelry Studios, and we're going to go directly back to the phones. We've got Dr. Schovanec, president of Texas Tech, on the line, and we want to talk about opening up the campus. I know that, excitingly, we're already seeing a lot of the students coming back. I think it's going to help the Lubbock economy a lot. Are there any issues that you're seeing right now as far as the campus opening?
Well, Matt, we are beginning the move-in process in the dorms. That began over the weekend. Saturday and Sunday, we had about 1,500 students move in. We're spreading that move-in over 3 weeks as opposed to the typical weekend that we would do that. And the CFO, who oversees housing, has reported that they're moving in 400 or so students a day. It's been very organized. It's proceeded very well. Our enrollment continues to be very strong, and we have actually increased the number of face-to-face courses being offered in the last week or so in response to student preferences. At the same time, we obviously have to be very respectful of the faculty and staff who are in compromised health situations and who have real fears about how they come back to work. And we're trying to balance all of that. And I've been, just this morning, I received an email from a student who inquired a week ago that he wanted more face-to-face, and I reached out to that college, and they accommodated that person by opening up additional sections. And I'm very appreciative of how cooperative the deans and the chairs and the faculty have been. Yes, go ahead, Dave.
One thing that did come to mind, of course, I was associated with the band for 10 years, and one thing that came to mind is there are schools out there that and the band, music department is one, the orchestra and band and so forth, that just don't lend themselves to distant learning. Are we not going to have a going band this year?
Okay, so Dave, it's interesting you had mentioned that. Yesterday, I received an email from the director of the band, and there are issues we're dealing with right now, even how they will be dressed for the games, and testing for the band, and a number of issues. We plan. The going band is going to be playing. It's not going to be traveling to any away games, but I was sent a list of concerns yesterday, and we're in the process of addressing those. And Dave, that's typical. Every day, even though in spite of all the planning, there are so many nuances that have to be addressed as we move forward. But I think I'm very proud of the way Tech has responded to this and addressing the needs and the wants of parents and of the students who have desired face-to-face, and yet respecting the preferences of those who choose to be online. Another thing I think is important is we did announce last week that we were suspending the athletic fee of all students.
Yeah.
Since then, we've modified some of the on-campus fees. We're not charging the online distance fee that is typically associated with an online course for those courses that were moved from face-to-face to online. And all of those decisions represent millions of dollars of lost revenue. In fact, the CFO told me yesterday that distance fee accommodation was over $10 million.
So,
but that's what we're going to do.
So how much, I don't know if you have a figure, but how much has the coronavirus costed Texas Tech at this point?
Right now, I would say we're well in excess of $70 million, probably closer to, so we were at $75 million or so. After a while, $5 million here, $10 million there, you just kind of,
after a while, it adds up to some real money, doesn't it?
But we're still fine. Our enrollment has been healthy. We had all-time record enrollment this summer. And that's an interesting phenomena, given that except for summer 2, a few courses, it was all online. And our enrollment is very healthy for the fall. We'll see how it holds, but we're okay.
Okay.
And we'll get through this.
Dr. Schovanec, one thing that Texas Tech did that I thought was interesting is that you are offering, or you'll have offered, for all students to have a one-time coronavirus test before going to school.
Right. So that was done in conjunction with the Texas Department of Emergency Management. We began that on August the 3rd. We're going to do it for 3 weeks. But I think what's important to emphasize is once the school begins, we're still going to have testing available for students as needed. So we did offer that. It wasn't mandatory. I get statistics on how the number of positive cases and all, and it's been very well managed. And I don't have the latest numbers, but we will continue to provide the capability to test once school begins.
Okay. And Dr. Schovanec, is there anything else that you wanted to bring up right quick while we have a few minutes left?
No. I think we've covered quite a bit. I mean, this has been an extraordinary time. And for everybody, not just Texas Tech, I know for all the businesses in town and for parents and for the community, I think that I'm looking forward to the fall. As I came on campus this morning, you could already sense the greater level of activity. The students want to be here, and things won't be the same. But as much as we can and as safely as we can, we want to make sure we give them the kind of experiences that they want and why they choose to come back to campus.
Yeah. All right. Well, Dr. Schovanec, thank you so much for being on this morning and kind of going over that. I know Texas Tech is a huge part of Lubbock and a huge part of our economy. So thank you very much.
We do appreciate the support of the city as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
You too. Thanks.
Yeah.